Ingram, and I'm the CEO and founder of City LLC, an equity and diversity consulting company. So today is one of many videos where I'm going to be bringing the news to you and talking to you about different topics of diversity and how those work within businesses and what they look like for populations that are currently underrepresented in the U.S. Today I'm going to start with the basic definition of what is diversity, Diversity 101, and what is not. So lately I've been meeting with companies and we've been talking about diversity. Now, the trends that I'm seeing are that people say, hey, diversity is either race or gender. When they say that's how we define it in our company, because I often ask that question when they say, well, we're diverse. I say, how is it that you define that within your company? Now, many companies will say race and gender. Let me be clear, that is not diversity. That is a component of diversity. And what I mean by that is that you have racial diversity and then you have gender diversity. And you have many different components of diversity that exist even outside of those realms. So you have age, you have ability, you have sexual orientation, you have religion, you have so many things that make up diversity and what it is. Now, while I say those are components of diversity, like racial diversity, religious diversity, gender diversity, that is not diversity. And I'm going to say that over and over. Because what diversity is when you take all of the different components of diversity that exist within a company and you create a place of equity for those things to exist. And what I mean by that is you hear diversity and inclusion becoming the new hot topic. They're the new trend that happens all around the world, right? Everybody's talking about diversity. Challenge is that nobody actually truly knows how to define it. People don't think about diversity in two different components that I'm going to break down. One is the symbolic version of diversity and then the systemic version of diversity. So the symbolic version of diversity is when people they say, oh, we need more people of color. Let's create a pamphlet. Let's create a website and let's get people that are Black, Asian, white, Latino, men, women, gender, of all different ages, and let's put that on a pamphlet and tell people we practice diversity here at our company. Okay, you're practicing some diversity, but it's superficial, right? You know the difference between surface level culture and deep culture? That's like systemic and symbolic diversity, right? Because you put these people on the front lines and you say, this is what we're doing to practice diversity. Let me put you in front of a camera and show that you exist here. But the question that you haven't actually answered is whether or not those people are being treated fairly. Have you created opportunities for policies and practices in your company that empower those people? And I mean through wage, I mean through career trajectory, current positions, benefits, all of these things. What kind of affinity groups or ERGs do you have within your company to really cater to those populations? I'm here to tell companies today to stop saying that you have diversity, but because you have race and gender. And even you see companies getting away with the fact that they say we have women in leadership. Then you go look at the women in leadership and it's all white women, right? It's affirmative action all over again. It's like not saying that white women aren't components of diversity, but if a company is saying that that's the only way that they have diversity, that's a misconception. And they really think that they're doing something great by saying, we put women in leadership positions. Actually, you put white women in leadership positions and you don't put women of color in leadership positions or even people of color in leadership positions, which is a definite component of diversity that you need, especially with the way the population trends are going. And as those populations increase, you have to think about what does it mean to provide an actual diverse team in my company? And then you need to set goals to say, I'm going to empower these people. The way that I'm going to do that is by making sure that they are given a fair wage. I'm going to create access for different pipelines so that you may not need a bachelor's degree or you may not need a master's degree in order to get into my company. If you want to think about untapped talent, you have to start thinking about stop going in educational trajectories that say you have to have a degree to be educated. Ask yourself the question in HR, when does professional work experience equate to an actual degree, right? Because when you say, oh, you need a degree, you're already excluding certain pipelines who cannot afford to go to college. And when you think about poor white children, you think about children of color, all of these untapped talent markets that people don't give opportunities to because they're so stuck on the hierarchy of higher education being the standard. And I'm not saying that if you go to a higher educational institution, you shouldn't be granted an opportunity to get a job. But what I'm saying is if you want to start to practice equity and diversity, you create opportunities where you say, if you have 3 years of professional work experience, for some people who even love the word grit, 4 to 5 years of professional work experience to equate to be able to do this job and get paid a livable wage. And let's create an apprentice program or a talent program that empowers you and puts you into positions where you can excel and you can continue to grow and develop, right? It's like, stop thinking about diversity as a way to say, let me put somebody in front of this camera, let me make sure that they are a person of color, that they range in different ages. That's not diversity. I'm saying that to you over and over again. Diversity has to live within every function that you have, every role that you have, every team that you have embedded in your company. This is just the first of many series where I'll be coming to you and talking to you about diversity and what it actually means and what it actually looks like. Because currently, from what I've seen, many companies are practicing it wrong. I have 15 to 20 meetings a week where I meet with different people, for everybody in executive positions, even HR positions. And they say, well, I think our company's doing a good job with diversity. And I say, okay, tell me what that means. They're like, we hire women. We hire people from different racial backgrounds. I'm like, you hire them, but do you actually retain them? And do you actually create an equitable workplace? And what does that mean? And stop using inclusion as an excuse for making people assimilate when they come to your company. Get rid of the ideal and the notion of a cultural fit, because that is not what inclusion is. It's like companies are using inclusion as a new way to discriminate against other people. My name is Cheryl Ingram, and I came to you today with this quick highlight about diversity and what it is and what it means in the workplace. Stay tuned for the next learning series where I'll be talking about inclusion as a synonym for assimilation.